Teni was the daughter of a respected yam farmer and his wife, who sold wares in the bustling village market. From the moment she was born, Teni's beauty was evident. Her ebony skin glowed under the sun, her almond-shaped eyes sparkled like stars, and her laughter was a melody that brightened even the gloomiest days. As she grew, many proclaimed her to be the most beautiful girl the village had ever seen. However, Teni's beauty was matched only by her insatiable appetite. From a young age, she had a peculiar love for food. While other children played in the village square, Teni would be seen near her mother's kitchen, eagerly waiting for the next meal. She devoured pounded yam and egusi soup with alarming speed, often asking for seconds and thirds. Her parents initially indulged her, proud of her healthy appetite. "A growing child needs to eat well," her father would say, chuckling as she polished off her plate. But as Teni grew older, her eating habits began to worry those around her. Her mother noticed that Teni's clothes no longer fit, and her movements became slower. "Teni, you must learn to control your eating," her mother advised one evening, as the girl reached for another helping of jollof rice. "Too much of anything is not good, my child." But Teni brushed off her mother's concerns with a playful laugh. "Mama, food is life. Why should I deny myself the joy of eating?" she replied, piling her plate high. As the years passed, Teni's appetite grew, and so did her size. Her beauty, once a source of admiration, now drew whispers of concern from the villagers. "What a shame," some would say. "Such a beautiful girl, yet she cannot control herself." Despite the murmurs, Teni remained oblivious. She lived for the joy of food, ignoring the warnings of her parents, friends, and even the elders of the village. Teni's love for food knew no bounds. She would start her day with several bowls of akara and pap, snack on roasted corn and ube before noon, and by the time the sun set, she would have devoured more yam pottage and goat meat than most families could afford in a week. Her gluttony extended beyond mealtimes. She would sneak into kitchens during festivals, hunting for leftovers even when she wasn't hungry. At first, the villagers found Teni's appetite amusing. During feasts, the children would cheer her on as she ate bowl after bowl, and the elders would shake their heads in disbelief. "Teni eats like she's feeding a whole farm of yams," they would joke. But as her size began to grow noticeably larger, their amusement turned to concern. Her mother pleaded with her. "Teni, look at yourself in the mirror. You are not the girl you used to be. If you keep eating like this, your body will betray you." Teni only laughed. "Mama, what is life if not for enjoyment? Let me enjoy myself." Her father tried a different approach, attempting to limit the portions she was served at home. But Teni found ways around this. She would visit the market and exchange chores for extra meals, or sneak into neighbors' homes and charm her way into their kitchens. "Teni," her friends would say, "don't you want to join us at the river for swimming or the moonlight dances anymore? You're always eating, and you hardly come out these days." Teni would shrug, too focused on her next bite to care. "Dancing and swimming won't fill my stomach, will they?" Her gluttony began to take its toll. By the time she reached adulthood, Teni's size made it difficult for her to move around freely. Tasks that once came easily, walking to the market, fetching water from the stream, became monumental challenges. Yet, even then, she refused to change her ways. The turning point came during the annual New Yam Festival, one of the most important celebrations in the village. The festival was a time of joy, with music, dancing, and feasting that lasted for days. Teni had always looked forward to it, not for the dancing or the rituals, but for the food. That year, as the villagers gathered to watch a traditional dance competition, Teni attempted to join the crowd. But her size made it impossible to navigate through the narrow pathways leading to the village square. People stared as she struggled, sweat dripping from her face, until finally, she gave up and sat under a tree, far from the festivities. For the first time, Teni felt the sting of exclusion. She watched from a distance as the young men and women danced under the moonlight, their laughter echoing through the night. Her heart ached with envy and regret, but her pride kept her from admitting it. Suitors who had once admired her beauty now avoided her. Teni is beautiful, yes, they whispered among themselves, but she is too large to farm, too heavy to carry water, and too proud to listen to advice. She would be a burden, not a wife. Teni overheard some of these whispers, but she pretended not to care. Deep down, however, their words cut through her like a knife. One evening, after overhearing a group of young men mocking her, Teni sat alone by the riverbank. The reflection in the water startled her. The girl who had once been the village beauty was now unrecognizable. Tears filled her eyes as she whispered to herself, "How did I let it get this far?" But even then, Teni couldn't bring herself to change. Food was her only comfort, the one thing she could rely on to fill the emptiness growing inside her. She continued to eat, even as the weight of her choices became too much for her to bear. As time passed, Teni's situation grew worse. Her once celebrated beauty had all but disappeared, hidden beneath layers of excess weight. While the villagers used to admire her grace and elegance, they now avoided her. The lively girl who once lit up gatherings was now a shadow of her former self, out alone, immobile, and increasingly bitter. But Teni refused to listen. Instead, she sought food elsewhere, often borrowing or bartering for extra meals. She even resorted to sneaking into village kitchens during the night, earning her the nickname Midnight Teni among the children. As the seasons changed, Teni found herself increasingly excluded from village life. She stopped attending festivals and avoided the marketplace, too ashamed to face the judgmental eyes of the villagers. The loneliness was crushing, but she tried to numb it with the only thing that had ever brought her comfort: food. Her health began to deteriorate. Walking even short distances left her breathless, and her knees ached under her weight. She spent most of her days sitting on a mat outside her parents' hut, watching life go by without her. "How did I let it come to this?" she whispered to herself one evening, her voice barely audible over the gentle lapping of the water. Memories of her younger days flooded her mind, days when she was the envy of the village. When her beauty and charm turned heads wherever she went. Those days felt like a lifetime ago. That night, as she lay awake on her mat, Teni began to reflect on her life. She thought of all the warnings she had ignored, the opportunities she had squandered, and the relationships she had let slip away. The loneliness was unbearable, but so was the weight of her regret. For the first time in years, Teni felt the stirrings of a desire to change. She didn't know where to begin, and she wasn't sure if it was even possible. But deep down, she knew she couldn't continue down the path she was on. "I've wasted so much time," she whispered to herself, staring up at the thatched roof of her hut. But maybe it's not too late to start again. And so, she started her journey of transformation. She has learned that self-awareness, discipline, and the willingness to change are essential for personal growth and transformation, that indulgence and neglecting one's well-being can lead to isolation and regret, but it is never too late to turn things around.